What's shaking? Hey, we're back. I'm Rick Jordan, and today we're going all in. And if there's ever a day to going all in, this guest that I'm bringing on today, I'm so pumped because this dude is just absolutely phenomenal when it comes to team sports and helping people. That's what we're all about, right? So I'm not even gonna bring a long intro because National Director of Nike Sports Camps. There you go. Former pro ball player, basketball, and motivational speaker, Joel Green. What's up, my man? It's good to see you.
Same here, Rick. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Dude, we're going to have an awesome convo because, I mean, there's a lot of things that you're involved with, and teams are the big thing that I want to talk about today, man, because there's so much that's involved in that, and you've got some insight, I would imagine, into especially playing team sports, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you a quick background too, because I was talking with some of my team the other day, like instilling culture into them. And we were talking about metrics with business, right? And I'm like, listen, it's like I played baseball for 9 years, you know, and it's because there were team metrics and bonus incentives and all that. They're like, I think we should focus on individuals. I'm like, listen, people are going to know. And curious, like going back to your pro ball days, right? It's like everybody else on the team is going to know if somebody's slacking. If somebody's not showing up to practice, right? So,
drop of a dime, you know it right away.
Yep, right on. So what are your experience with that, man? I mean, pro ball player, tell me about your time.
It was a fun time, man, but again, it was ups and downs. Yeah. You don't get as a pro, you don't get every contract that you want. But that's a part of the journey of it. And, I embrace it all. I took it as a challenge to improve me. Just to show, okay, I know I'm worth X, Y, Z. And I really loved, it's funny, speaking of the team aspect versus the individual aspect, I would tell, it's funny, I was only a captain for a couple teams that I played for as a pro, one of the captains. And I would always tell them, like, look, during the offseason, we got to get better individually. So we working out a couple times a day. I'm working out outside of our team practice just on my own. Like, look, come to the gym with me. Because if you get better, we get better, simply put. But don't rely on me for you to do well. Like, don't bank on me for your success. You know what I mean? And a lot of times I was the American, you can say the American star abroad because they only bring in 2, maybe 3, depending on what league you're playing in. So I was heavily relied upon. But I was just so big on the team doing their job, man. It was like, do not rely on me to do what you're supposed to do or for us to get a W. Like, I'm going to do my part. You better do your part, And it's funny, I run my business the same way now. I tell everybody, let's individually improve and do our research and read up on what we ought to so that collectively we're unstoppable.
Dude, that's an insane viewpoint, as an insanely awesome viewpoint, because you're bringing up something I didn't even think about when I was going through this with my teams, right? When you have talent and you can see this, right? When you have talent, and I mean, like if it's speaking or whatever, it happens with me when I was in all these mastermind groups, 2 business mastermind groups. It's like, just because I could put 2 sentences together, it was like, hey, Rick, we want you to lead us. Make us look, yeah, right on, like make us look good, and I'm like, that's cool, but I love seeing the rest of the team being elevated.
Absolutely.
I can set a course and all these things, but what's the best way that you learned as a captain of the team, man, to be able to coach people that way, to have them not rely on you, and by the way, everyone that's listening to, I want to cut this dividing line because there's a coach of mine taught me this. Because I used to try to refrain from saying, oh, I'm good at this, I'm good at that. Because when you're good at something, you're freaking good at it, right?
Right.
And you should be able to say that too, because it was like a humility thing that I was trying not to come across as arrogant. But, arrogance, for everyone listening, arrogance is having a higher opinion of yourself than what is actually reality. Look it up. Look up the definitions, Otherwise, It's just literal fact. Right.
And it's confident. There's nothing wrong with confidence. Look, you can, trust me, man. I tell people to be extremely confident in themselves. I tell people to overachieve. I tell them those are the ones that stand out. I'll be honest. The more you just, do the status quo and you just do the bare minimum, you're going to blend in.
Yeah.
And as much as many of us may not want to admit it, we don't want to blend in. We want to stand out in some capacity, but most just may not have the willpower to put in the work or the effort to stand out. So they just say, I don't need to do all that extra stuff. Yes, you want to do it though. But
Joel's my captain. I can blend in. I can just, ride his coattails, right?
Right. I mean, that's the thing. If there's somebody that can, lead the ship and kind of right the wrongs if things happen to be going terrible, then I've been there. I've been the guy that's been on the team with some amazing ball players. Like, I've been there. And it's like, for me, again, my makeup says I want to be that, as opposed to let me just ride their coattails. But I know everyone doesn't think that way. Like I admire those guys to where it's like, okay, man, I know I have something like that inside myself too. So let me step my game up to become that. But, for me, what made me used to tell others that was honestly being as much of an extension of our coach as possible. I knew the things that the coaches would tell the team. They would come to me first a lot of times. Hey, Jay, what do you think about us doing X, Y, Z, next week? I'm game planning this. And that's what I did respect about some of the coaches I had. Not every coach, but they would bring things to me first. Say, hey, what do you think? How do you think they'll respond to it? Stuff like that. I'm like, I think it'll be good. Let's rock with it. Let's roll with it. And they'll tell me, look, you better do well with it first because we expect you to lead. So I would be an extension of my coach and just kind of coaching them away from the coach. So they would then listen to me mid-game or while we're at the apartments, things like that. So I told them also what I told myself. I'm being straight up with you. It was just me telling me, you better do your part, step it up. So when the game comes, what you're counted on for is executed. So I'm then relaying to them what I told myself that morning. You're like, okay, Joel, do your thing.
Yeah.
Now I'm telling them, hey, guys, do your thing individually so that when we come together, we're a beast.
For sure, man. Well, who was one of your favorite coaches that you had? Because, you spent a lot of time as a captain, but dude, who was your favorite coach?
Man, it was, it's a crazy part of, not a crazy, but a whimsical part of my journey in college, right? So I went to 4 different colleges, right? Due to the NCAA and this whole thing called a 4-2-4 transfer, because I couldn't transfer directly to another 4-year Division I because I would have to sit out and redshirt. And I'm like, I don't want to have to do that because I just redshirted my freshman year due to tearing my hamstring.
Oh,
so I'm like, okay, I can't go straight to another Division I like I wanted to. And there was another D1 that already wanted me, St. Joe's in Philadelphia. And I'm like, I can't do that or I have to sit out. So I went into junior college. They said you can do a 4-2-4 transfer, which is going from a 4-year school to a 2-year institution for 2 years, just to get back to Division I, hopefully, if you get offered a scholarship again.
Wow.
From going into the junior college ranking. So, I was confident in myself. I said, all right, cool, I'll do it. I said, I just want to keep playing. I want to play basketball. I just had to sit out all last year due to injury. So I went into junior college after being at Division I for a year and a half. And won a national championship down in Texas and wanted to be closer to home. And I said, okay, wanted to have my family see me play. So I transferred to a school in Maryland called Cecil Community College and won another national championship. So, winning back-to-back titles was nuts at 2 different schools. Was like, my mind was blown. And then I earned a scholarship back to Division I for my final 2 years of eligibility. But that coach in Maryland, just before I got back to D1, dude was nuts, man, in a great way. And about Bob Knight, right?
Yep.
So he was the general, I think is what they called him. We called our coach the lieutenant. So Bob, he used to actually come to recruit. He was recruiting one of our guys. He was at Texas Tech at the time. So this was after his Indiana days. And we like, oh man, coach is going to show out today, man. I'm talking all the suicides we can run, all the conditioning drills. We just on the floor on our hands and knees tired. But this coach, he helped bring the best out of me because I already thought I was playing well. I already thought I was in shape. But man, this guy literally made me get to the point of almost passing out so many times that Once the games came around, they were a piece of cake.
That's awesome.
Practices and our workouts, they were dangerously hard. And again, this is me coming from the Division I level. At a junior college, I'm experiencing this. Our junior college conditioning was 20 times harder than the Division I level.
Wow.
And, you can get away with a few more things. You can kind of be out a little bit later in practice and, there's not as many guidelines and rules, but this guy brought the best out of me, man. And I just became, along with my team, we became amazing. We won 29 straight games, won a, national championship. And, he helped me just develop a mindset of superiority. To be honest, you are great. You have the ability to show it. Always do one more thing. If your teacher tells you to read 10 pages, nope, Joe, you got to read 10. You got to read 10 to 15. And I always had to check in with him. Did you read a few more? I forgot to. Nope. All right, get off the phone. Read a few more. And it was things like that I instill now into my son. I have a 9-year-old. I'm like, okay, do one more. We getting up baskets. We got 20. Okay, we finished. All right, let's get another one. And that's what allows us now to stand out as opposed to just doing what everybody else is doing, what's written in black and white. Go beyond what's written in black and white.
Dude, that's awesome. You carried that with you. I was going to ask, what's you answered my question, because I'm listening to it. And I'm like, before I even asked it, it's like, what was the one thing that this coach, the lieutenant, right, that you take now and instill in everybody that you've coached over the years, but all the way down to your 9-year-old brother. That's awesome.
Yeah. It stuck with me, man. It was hard to break it. I went to military school for a year. That helped discipline me when I was about 17. But being here, it was like another form of it, man. It was like military school all over again. We were in the weight room at 12 midnight. It was always one more. It was written on our shirts. We had it, one more with an exclamation point. So that the mentality was ingrained in us, man. So everything I do now, man, it has that one more mentality behind it.
That's so cool, dude. You going to have one more son?
Right. Not right now.
Yeah, not right
now. I'm cool.
That's cool. So your dude's 9, yeah?
He's 9. Yep.
Yeah,
he's 9 years old.
What's his name, brother?
Jaden.
Jaden? That's a cool name.
Jaden, yeah.
Do you see some basketball potential in him? Or just some pro athlete potential at all?
I'll be honest, man. Yeah. And I don't feel like I'm being biased, but I see a whole lot in him. I was very much into ball at his age too. Like I was a baller as far as loving the game of basketball at that age. He's a historian with the game. His favorite player is Michael Jordan. And he wasn't even born while Mike was still active as a player. Yeah. But he loves to look up the game. He was telling me about Artis Gilmore the other day. I'm like, how do you even know Artis Gilmore? Like he was in the 60s and stuff. But he loves basketball. Me and him, we play. I mean, he looks like he's like 12 already, but he's 9. So he has that potential. His body type is already there. It's pretty cool.
Dude, it's so cool as a dad because I've had this with my kids too, right? I've got 2 boys and a girl, but you see, like you see these little sparks of potential, right? And it just seem to come out of nowhere. And you just kind of like raise an eyebrow. It's like, oh, okay. I got you. Right. I can see this.
Exactly.
And I know. And then the toughest part, man, for me is like balancing as a father, because I don't ever want to like pigeonhole them from my own impressions that I'm impressing on them, It's like, cool. But then it's the balance between that, like staying out of their lives enough to allow them to make their own choices, but then also encouraging them in a certain direction to at least, because we see things as parents, right? As dads that our kids won't at a certain age.
Right. You know better. Right.
Yeah. Right, exactly. For sure, man. But it's so cool that, there's nothing like, there's 2 things, right? There's nothing like when you actually become a dad, when you first see your dude for the first time, brother. Tell me about that. Because I'm looking down and I had twins, like a boy and a girl at the same time. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the best feeling ever. What was that like for you, man?
It was a crazy experience for me. I got to let you know. So, as a teenager, I tragically lost one of my older brothers, right? And that happened on February 16, 2002. And so that day was just like, obviously the worst. I was only 17. He was only 25. Out of the blue, just tragic incident happened. So mind you, I'm just, I'm going about life, and, my wife at the time, she was pregnant. I'm like, all right, this is the best thing in the world. Like, I remember when water broke and we woke up in the middle of the night, like, I woke up because she was already awake. So I'm like, we rushed to the hospital and everything. And next thing I know, the next morning, she has our son. And what do you know, man? The day ended up being February 16th, 2013.
Wow.
So on a Saturday, so my older brother passed away on Saturday, February 16th, 2002. Huh. My son was born 11 years later on a Saturday morning, February 16th, 2013. So when it happened, dude, I remember, I held him first, and I stepped out. I remember it was strange, and I stepped out in the hall. I just started bawling.
Yeah,
because every year that was like a tough day for me. To just even think about my brother, man, it was super tough. But it's like I got some redemption in some form that day, to where it was like a day of death turned into a day of life. So like me and my son's bond is just so crazy, because he just always he's a reminder for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I have to go all out for this kid. I have to.
Yeah, brother. You got me fighting back tears for real. That's just, that's mind blowing, man. That's awesome.
It was, because it didn't even dawn on me right away until I'm like, I'm holding him. And I'm like, man, I had to give him to somebody. I gave him to his mom. Yeah. I said, I'll be right back. And I kind of just felt things coming, man. So I just kind of excused myself from everybody. The grandparents were in there, everything. I'm like, man, like I wrote about it. I recently released a book, and I have it in there. I didn't go into too much detail on that part, but it was just like, it just rushed on me. I'm like, whoa, this is the same day. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, it was pretty surreal.
For real. It's so cool when we have these conversations on this show, especially because you don't know where it's going to go, dude. It's just
exactly.
I'm loving this, dude. I mean, I know everyone that's listening is just able to connect on a human level now, brother. And it's just it's reality, right? Because it's the ups, it's the downs. No matter where you're at in life, what you end up accomplishing, you always have that tether to reality. With things. Exactly. I mean, everybody experiences the same stuff, just in very different ways. But then we can pull on it. And I love what you're doing, because, I mean, you wrote a book recently, you mentioned, which we'll talk about. And you're also the national director of Nike Sports Camps, dude. I mean, it's just incredible leadership that you're projecting in this world. Tell me about your book, brother.
No, I appreciate it. My book is, it's a 6-year journey of writing it to begin with. Just going through, a lot of difficulty in life when I began writing it. Having potential divorce come about and being a father at the same time, loving fatherhood, loving marriage. You know what I mean? It was like, it was a tough time for me, not wanting for this huge, split to happen. You know what I mean? Not just for myself, but for my son, and knowing how much he loved the whole family dynamic. So I just was, searching for a whole lot of life, man, and was trying to figure out how to not just get through what I was going through, but how to pull something from, as crazy as it sounds, but pull something from those dark moments. You know what I mean? I tell people, from the stage now, like the most successful people are the ones that aren't afraid of the dark. Yeah. Like they lean into their dark moments of their past. They actually draw motivation from those moments. And that's what I was attempting to do. And I came up with this tool, a method I developed for myself called filtering. And that's why I named my book, Filtering: The Way to Extract Strength from the Struggle. And, I just literally began leaning into the different moments of my life, man, and pulling amazing motivation from them, leaning into the looming divorce that was, seemingly happening. We were just separated at the time, and pulling motivation from it. And I just began, having all these questions. So I began reading, 9 books every 3 weeks. I never forget, man. I went online, I ordered 9 books at once. I just wanted to know about all this stuff and just find out who I was and, secure the insecurities that I had. I was questioning myself a whole lot. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, no, I've never been insecure. I've always been a confident person. I've been bred for pressure and, anxiety in moments like this in sports. But this was life. This was different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just began learning so much more about myself, about life, and became so secure in myself and who I was. And I said, okay, began speaking these things from the stage. And so many people say, do you have a book? You anywhere we can kind of follow up on what you just spoke on? No, sorry, I don't have a book. So I began writing the book, about 6 years ago. And it just really tells people how to persevere, how to overcome different things. But beyond that, to really draw from what you're going through and convert those moments into an advantage for yourself. And again, I discuss how I grew up in an abandoned house, in North Philadelphia. I discuss how I was 10 feet away from a shooting when I was 6 years old and thought I was going to get shot because I was the only person there outside the other kid that got shot. And, so it was just, I talk about how I overcame these things, having a knife pulled out on me at 9 years old and called the N-word because I was quote unquote in the wrong neighborhood. So like going through all these things and still being able to succeed in life, despite those things, people wanted to know like how. And that's why I had to put it into the book, how I overcame these things and began using these things against themselves so they cancel themselves out.
That's incredible, dude. You got it on audiobook now too, on Audible?
Yes, it's an audiobook as well.
I think your book's going to become my workout book. That's what I do, brother. I listen to
I love it.
Coming up in the next week or so. I'm gonna download it today, man. For real.
That'd be awesome, man. I appreciate that.
That's my space, right? When I'm working out, and that's when I listen to podcasts. That's how I consume knowledge. Is just during that time. And you're moving me today, dude. You're touching my heart today. I appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate that, man. We sound alike. I mean, that's when I take in a lot of content too, man. I'm working out. I'm trying to see what little tidbits I can pick up. So it's not always music. Sometimes it's music. Sometimes, it's just like, okay, let me throw some Earl Nightingale or somebody on that can kind of feed my mind right now.
Right on, brother. It's funny how you talk about that with music because it's been like the last 2 workouts that I've been doing music. It's been really driving music, right? Because it's been because it's I'll listen to if I'm doing a maintenance or something, right? If I'm not pushing it too hard, it seems like that's when I'll do the audio books, But then it's like I'm gonna bump it up 5 pounds today,
Right. Exactly. Throw something hardcore, right? Exactly.
Yep. For sure, dude.
That's
man,
right.
I appreciate you. To before we head out here, tell me a little bit about Nike Sports Camps, right? You're the national director of that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a passion, man. That's it's sports. I played basketball, obviously, and played football for second in high school. Ran track. Track is a passion of mine. So I just love athletics, and just overall, I love the mentality behind athletics. Again, you know this more than anybody else. It's a mentality that you have to have.
Yeah.
It's a balance that you have to have that's not really spoken about. You have to be a student athlete in school. Like that's a serious balance that you must have. And it's an obligation and that you have to uphold. So I tell kids all the time, like, look, pay close attention, lean into what you have going on right now. You have a gift of being an athlete and you have an advantage that a lot of non-athletes may not be experiencing right now because your teammates are going to be called coworkers one day.
Yep.
Like your coach is going to be called bosses and managers one day. These referees, they're going to be called officers out in society. Like you have an advantage that you're gaining right now in sports that others don't. So you can actually be more prepared than the non-athlete out in society. So just lean into what you have going on. So I love that aspect of being able to direct Nike Sports Camps and bringing others on board to direct the camps. That's a big part of what I do, bringing other people on board so that we can grow the brand around the country, grow my company around the country, and just really instill the proper mindset into these kids to help prepare them for life. It's not just about sports. I mean, it's a whole lot bigger than that. So that's what I love the most about it, man. It's helped my business to expand and to grow. We're partners with Nike Sports Camps and it's helped me to grow in that position. I love it, man. I love it to a T.
It's amazing the stuff that life throws us, isn't it? And it just, you become so grateful for the opportunities.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely,
awesome, man. So filtering, available everywhere, right? It's
available everywhere, man. It's out there.
Sweet, brother.
Thank you. Again, you got to let me know what you think about it, man. I definitely respect your opinion.
Yeah, you bet, man. Thanks for coming on, dude. Go everywhere. Follow Joel and everything he's doing. Go buy his book, too, most of all. I'm going to do it today because I'm going to listen to it while I'm working out tomorrow morning. Thanks,
awesome.
Joel. Good having you, brother.
Appreciate it.